Hello, I'm your host, Mitch, and to my left, as always, is
We haven't even figured out a name for me. The regular
he's
host.
Tyler.
You know what that says, I guess, if you watch the show regularly. Yeah, this is an odd show where you're starting us off. It's
Well, this was my idea,
true.
and that's we're only doing it because I did a recent or somewhat recent. I don't even know when this comes out, to be
I don't
honest. So
either.
yeah,
There's no schedule.
I did an episode a month or so back. I'll say some time ago, where I talked about Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Yeah.
Because I liked that movie. I had a good time. And I wanted to talk about it. I was like, man, I got to talk about how awesome some of the stunt work was. People should go see it. And then you just kind of were there to tag along, and you're like, I'm not going to see that crap because you don't like Mission Impossible movies. And then what happened is you went and saw it,
I
and you
did.
betrayed me by doing no, I'm just kidding.
Everyone betray me.
So you ended up seeing it, and then you didn't like it, and you were like offended that I did. And I was like, so I thought this would be fun because it's nice to hear us disagree about things because we almost usually come together and it's like, yeah, this is where it's at. But this was a moment where I like Mission Impossible movies. I always have a good time, pretty much. There's like some that are better than others for sure.
Naturally.
But I feel like on the whole, I'm usually down to watch another Mission Impossible movie. But you despise them, so I'm gonna ask some questions
Okay.
about what it is, like how we can sort this through, and then what will happen is I'll then throw the ball to you, and then you could do the same to me about something that you like,
Aw.
and then I'll have to figure out an answer for it.
Okay.
I've not figured out my answers. We don't have anything scripted out other than the questions themselves. So
Yeah.
here we go. Okay. So my first question is, what element of a film is something you can't look past if you dislike it? So I'll give a quick example. For me, acting is not a top priority. So when I'm watching a movie, as long as the actors are relatively decent, I'm okay. I don't have to have like top tier acting. Some people be like, "Oh, this performance doesn't work for me" or whatever, and I'm just like, I guess sometimes it comes up where I'm like, "Yeah, I don't feel like I'm into this performance at all." But for the most part, I just kind of take it as like actors are pretty good. That's not something I'm highly critical of. So if it's less than, it doesn't irritate me and block it. So, but something else, might get in the way. For example, editing. If your movie's badly editing, that will drive me nuts. If it's just like, oh, I did a cut and it's like this slightly different angle, I'm like, why did we do that? Or if it's like cutting like 10,000 times, why? It's just super annoying to me and I just cannot ignore it. So my question to you is, what are some of those elements that you're like, I can't ignore it. This is just so annoying to me.
Well, I guess I'll just start with Mission Impossible and really garner the hatred right off the bat. So for a Final
Okay.
Reckoning specific, so I haven't watched since like 4. But I
Okay.
have not kept up with the Mission Impossible. I know there's like 8 or
Did you see
something
the one
right
with
now.
Henry Cavill? I thought you did, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that because it wasn't a memorable film. That's
That's the best one.
the only the only scene I remember is the bathroom fight. I was just like, oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
okay, so I will say the redeeming qualities of a lot of these films, specifically with Tom Cruise movies in general,
Mm-hmm.
the dude's insane. So you're gonna get some ridiculous stunt work that he's doing,
Right.
and you're gonna know that it's probably real on some ridiculous level.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, he probably actually did jump out of that skyscraper for no reason. They're like, yeah, we could do this with CGI. He's like, no, it has to be real. I've got to jump off the real thing. Like,
Gotta be real,
I'm
man.
surprised that he's like still got ideas because of the amount of stuff that the man's done. I guess he won an award for most amount of times, or most difficult stunt on a plane or something. Like
Really?
he got some form of award or Guinness World Record or something for something he did in one of these movies. That's this last one specifically.
Oh, okay.
And I guess he like passed out on one of the planes because of the G-forces because he was outside an actual Cessna. It's like, dude, okay.
Yeah, he did.
So like there's redeeming, like the guy actually elevates just by, for one, his star power, because he is one of those that just has that draw for whatever reason for all the things that he does, but also,
It's because he loves movie making, I think, so
and
much.
you can clearly tell. So like that stuff is great. That stuff bleeds through anything he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Mission Impossible though, I do like the first one. I'll grant you that. I like the first movie.
Okay.
First one's
Okay.
good. But I think they're one of those that has they have overstayed their welcome, for one. And they're just one of those it's so over the top ridiculous that I just can't get into the immersion of it. So it just removes me from the escapism. Specifically
Okay.
with this last one, it's just it I don't know if it's so this is my attribution to it. I don't know if this
Okay.
is what actually happens, but when a narrative isn't relying on itself to just carry the movie, that instantly starts sticking out to me. It's like this feels like the
Okay.
writer is not confident enough in either himself or his audience to just allow the narrative to do its thing. Like we
Hmm.
discussed F1 and how he actually added stuff in to elevate that narrative and it made it better because he was competent and confident enough to do so. This one, he did a full on freaking recap. I was like, dude, I understand there's a lot of movies and you're trying to connect them all, but like, I do not need a full on 45 minutes of exposition to get me started. Like, if I'm here seeing the ninth one, either I did the work and watched all these movies before I got here, or I didn't, and that's on me. Like, just continue it. But they had to explain everything of who Gabriel was and what he was doing and what happened in the last movie and who
Hmm.
this person was and how he connected to this person. I was like, I either know or I don't. Like,
Mm.
I come from the Game of Thrones fan base. Game of Thrones famously just throws you in. Like, you either keep up or you don't.
Yeah, sink
And
or swim.
yeah, exactly. And like, I like that. I like just like, okay, well, I'm going to keep up. I'm going to figure it out along the way, or I got to
Hmm.
go back and reread and figure it out. And so this one, it's just trying to hold my hand so much. And by
Yeah.
doing so, it's just expositing. And it's like, just cut it out. I feel like it's treating me like an idiot. So
Okay.
narratively, if it feels like it's trying too hard, then it's automatic. I cannot get into it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so when I responded to that,
Uh huh.
I took it more as like sometimes I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm getting too much. I don't need that or whatever.
Sure.
But it doesn't irk me quite the way that it does you. But it
Fair.
depends on how it's presented to me.
Yeah.
And I did like at least how it was presented. I didn't care to have it, but
Sure.
if I'm going to have it, at least make it nice. And I think maybe that's partly where I can lean on it because
Sure.
to my interpretation was he was looking at it like, all right, I don't know if there's going to be another one, but this is like kind of an ultimate Mission Impossible movie. It's the last one for that I'll probably ever do or that may ever come out. So if that's the case, we're just going to kind of put all the movies into perspective. So he does this like montagey thing to recap everything, which is totally unnecessary. But it was kind of made it like a nostalgic, like, ooh, let's remember Mission Impossible movies. Which I get your point. It's
Sure.
valid. I just kind of like it was kind of like oh that's nice. Like it didn't bother me. You know, it wasn't like a I'm frustrated. But I guess like because you're thinking like, well, where's the story, man? Like,
Yeah.
where's what are we
Just
doing?
tell me the story. I don't care about the rest of this stuff.
And he's
The-
like, well, you know, it's Mission Impossible things, so
yeah,
cool
I know. I'm
stuff.
seeing the movie called Mission Impossible. I got it. The thing about it was that he also showed me that he was capable of doing it more subtly, and that also irritated me because I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
so you're capable. So you really don't have confidence in your audience. Is that what it is?" So
mm.
I was feeling like personally insulted at
Where
that
did he show you that he was capable of it?
when he introduced that other character that comes in that was in the first movie.
Oh yeah,
So when he shows up, because they don't only show that he's connected, but they show how he's affected by what happened in the first movie.
right.
But they also show his like depth of how he handles that whole situation. He's like, "Hey, yeah, I got fired because of that, but also I wouldn't have gone out here and met my wife." And he's
Right.
like, "There's nothing necessarily to be upset about. Like this is just life. This is how it happens. And if I'm gonna
Mhm.
be full of bitterness and anger about this one thing that happened, like then life's not worth living."
Mhm.
But he also shows that he was intelligent enough to know what was coming. I was like, oh,
Mm.
okay, so you clearly know how to write a competent narrative and a competent character. So, like, what were you doing all this first 45 minutes?
He was being indulgent is what he was doing.
Exactly, which I
Yeah.
hate. I hate
Mhm.
that. So it was nice to see, like, oh, okay, well, this one actually does connect in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to rely on these flashbacks and remember. It was like, no, it showed me a result. It showed me a consequence, and it was
Yeah.
nice. I was like, okay, this contrast is making this worse for me, but all right. So I
Gotcha.
guess on the
Okay.
it kept layering itself. So yeah,
Gotcha. Okay, well let me try another question then.
okay.
So how strong does another element of a film have to be in order to compensate for the lack of the other? So let's like cuz for me any disagreements I had with the movie just faded away as soon as that submarine scene kicked in.
Okay.
As soon as that was on, I was like, this is kind of good. And then as it kept going and going, I was like, what am I seeing? This is insane. And so, and like the music and the cinematography and
Yeah.
just everything, I was like, this is cinema, man.
Yeah.
Holy cow. So that to me just like won me over. And I was like, whatever you want to do, man, from here on out is good with me. But it sounds like for you, you were like, yes, I can acknowledge that was good. But this other stuff is so. Is there ever a point in a movie where it does something and you just go, forget the rest? This was great. This was worth it.
Okay.
I feel like the answer is no, because it would have been that scene otherwise.
Well, no, that's so I have to qualify it now.
Okay.
So are you saying, because if I'm understanding your question correctly, that something has to now obliterate the thing that was bothering me, and now I can enjoy the rest of the film, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because here's the thing about that submarine scene, because that scene is incredible.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing from start to finish that I felt completely, I hate that I'm about to say this, but it is the proper word, immersed in.
Yeah.
The thing about it is that scene, I felt like, all right, I got the escapism now.
Yeah.
Like, this is what he's trying to do.
Yes.
This is great. But then he leaves the submarine, goes back to all the dumb stuff that the movie's trying to do. And so I was like, okay, well, you've now just returned. So now you've pulled me back out of the escapism. So you gave me that escape. So that whole scene I felt really immersed in. I was like, this is
Yeah. more
what
of
you
this.
should have been doing the whole movie, in my opinion.
Right.
And I guess to some extent he tries with the end with the planes, but I was like, just kind of overstay your welcome. And you also have this stupid cackling villain that's just like over the top. And he's just constantly like, and I was like, dude, stop. You're not this isn't James Bond. Like, just knock it off. Like, so
Yes,
that
he
was
is
pulling
that
me
way.
out of it. It was nice to see Cruise in his element doing something ridiculous as he does,
Mm-hmm.
but it also is thematically relevant with the submarine.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what that, and that was also one of those films that like seamlessly involved its special effects. I have no idea what was special effects and what wasn't, and how they did
Right.
that scene, and that's nice.
Well, because they built like half a sub basically,
Yeah, I'm sure.
and then it was like in this huge pool, and then they were literally rotating it
Okay,
with the water.
so he pulled a full James Cameron for this.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was
'cause-
crazy.
because Tom Cruise is one of those that he has done so many crazy things
Mm-hmm.
that you never know how crazy he's actually gotten. Like I left the theater because I saw it with my parents, and I was
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't be surprised if this maniac was like, all right, look, I know this is impossible, but could we find an actual sunken submarine in Antarctica that I could actually swim down to and drown myself in order to make this as real as possible? Like, that's, so I was like, all right, I know he probably wasn't allowed to do that, but this scene looks really good.
Yeah.
So how much of this is actually practical? Because I'm
Mhm.
imagining probably a lot more than I'm thinking it is.
Right.
So if they actually had like a life-size sub to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, all that mixed in with the fact that this is what he's here for. He's clearly extremely athletically capable. He's probably got the actual suit on to some level. You were even telling me that he like popped the mouthpiece out so that they could see his face for movie star status.
And then he couldn't get
so he
like
couldn't breathe.
so he
properly.
can't breathe. So they have to pull him out like every few minutes, and then he's like,
Gotta
"So
get
you
my
can breathe,"
oxygen
and he
back.
goes back in. He's like, "Cause you can't see my face, so I can't act."
This is my point. That's insane. Like,
No need
dude,
to do that.
just put the mouthpiece in. You know it's you. Like, it's okay. So
But
yeah,
nope, that wasn't the Tom
that's
Cruise
not good
standard.
enough. Yeah, so like all those elements played in. So that scene, yes, did pull me in. I was like, all right, I'm
Mm.
getting what I wanted here. And
But
then-
it sounds like nothing ever can kind of just sweep away other things.
If
Maybe that's
that-
a good standard to have.
maybe that's why I'm so highly critical. No, I guess if that level of quality had progressed to the rest of the film, and it just
Through
did
the latter half.
yeah.
Oh,
So if the
okay.
exposition just slapped me around for the first 45 minutes and then it jumped to that and just continued that way, then I
Mhm.
could have been fine.
Okay.
But it was the fact that they kept like doing this back and forth thing. They kept going back to the president who had to explain every scenario that she was going through, and then had to go back to this guy and explain it. I was like, I got it. It's not that hard of a scenario. Like they
yeah.
just kept doing that.
Mhm.
That I can't look past. Because otherwise, I'm probably on your level where I
Okay.
don't necessarily care. I mean, an actor's performance is definitely going to be noticeable, whether it's high caliber or low. But
Mm.
it's not going to be something that's so egregious. Like I like 2000s TV shows, like Firefly, for instance. And that's not
Yeah.
known for its groundbreaking CGI material and special effects. Like, it's fun,
Mm-hmm.
but it has its charm that just kind of wipes away a lot of those other shortcomings. So I guess it depends on what the shortcomings are and how bad they are as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's also things that I like because they're bad. Like the movie House that I like
Yes.
is a horrible, horrible, horrible film.
It's
But
great.
it's so much fun because it's just one of those that you're watching because it's bad.
Yes.
Um,
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about those because I love me
right,
a good bad movie as
right.
well.
So but I'm saying that extreme exists in my head. So
Okay, yes, that's true. But it's enjoying for the wrong reasons.
sure,
Okay, so I'll give you a chance to throw it back at me then
okay,
with something that you like, and then we'll save that third question for the end, I think.
okay. So I know we have a disagreement on. Well, I know not Kong Skull Island, but the further entries into that, the Godzilla versus
Oh
Kong
yeah,
movies.
that just gets so stupid.
Okay,
Skull Island was awesome.
so
but
it's
yeah.
great. It's great. But I liked Godzilla versus Kong. So that one, I think because I went into it with such low expectations for one.
Uh-huh.
For two, it doesn't have a whole lot of the when they try to add the whole human element, I'm like, I don't care. Just put Kong and Godzilla
Oh,
fighting the
okay.
whole movie, and they pretty much did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they added Mechagodzilla, and I was like, sweet, I'm getting a bonus, baby.
Gotcha.
And it's just it didn't need to be deep, and it didn't try to be deep. It was just like we're just gonna destroy all of Tokyo probably, and we're just gonna level a city. That's all
Yes.
this is about. So what is it about? I guess we'll just stick with that film that you can't
Yeah,
get
why
into.
could I not look past? Like, what's the annoying thing that I just could not
Right.
forgive in
What is
that
it that you
movie?
can't like about it?
Um,
Because to me, that's so similar. They're like those summer blockbusters, but that one's so much more simple. Mission Impossible is like trying too hard.
oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I feel like, okay, if I were to put a term to this
Uh huh.
might not be very generous,
Whatever.
but
I
that's
wasn't interested
the
in Mission
style of
Impossible.
episode.
Uh huh.
No, I mean, I felt like you were fair with Mission Impossible,
Oh, okay.
to be
Thanks.
honest. I felt
Okay.
like you had praises. Like, I mean, because when you're calling Tom Cruise a maniac, that's like a sincere compliment because it's
It
like
is.
no one reaches that
That
standard.
guy. Sheesh.
Like, he inspires us all to do nothing that he does.
He's a junkie on another level for adrenaline for sure. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I feel like when you go through Mission Impossible, you're trying too hard and you're sensing the kind of the like how the skill is not meeting the ambition.
Sure.
Whereas for me, I don't feel like it's not that I thought that it was like, oh, they set themselves up to do something simple. It's just you're just really not good at telling stories. you need to go back to Writer's Workshop 101 or even back to like filmmaking. Like isn't that the one where there's this guy and he's like he's with the group or whatever, and then like this tree eats him, and then it's like a tree like ate him or whatever, and then it's like doing the stupid panic attack or whatever.
I think that was Godzilla X Kong.
Which one are we talking about?
Godzilla versus Kong.
Versus Kong. Okay, so now I gotta put the movies together because they're so unmemorable.
They are. That's fair. Skull Island wasn't because that one's got Samuel
Well,
Jackson fighting Kong. Like,
well, yeah, there's that, but then also like it was just stylistically unique.
yes, it
Like
was.
it's very like green and orange. Like
Mhm.
those two colors just pop in that movie the whole time,
Sure.
and that is just like unforgettable.
Yeah,
But
this is the one where they are finding out what the two monsters are about. And so Godzilla knows when there's another alpha. So they have Kong like locked away in that facility, and then they
Mhm.
they put him on the boat, and they're driving, and then Godzilla shows up, and they
oh,
have the fight on the
the
boat,
fight on the boat,
and then
yeah.
they eventually have the fight in the city. But also someone's like trying to harness the power of King Ghidorah or whatever, and so they pull that power and they put it into Mechagodzilla, and he
I
shows
do
up
remember
in
the
the end.
Mechagodzilla
Okay,
part, and
so they fight
that
first.
whole
This is
thing.
where he has the axe. So he finds that from his
Yes.
ancestors or
Oh my
whatever.
gosh. Okay, yeah, and this is the one where they're like in this upside down world, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to choose the element here. This movie's coming back to me now.
Okay.
Okay, I don't like it when you reveal. I guess it's the same thing. Your point when you reveal potential and don't do anything with. I would
That's
rather
fair.
you've just not brought it up. So when they introduce that like whole like oh this is like Kong's world and look how cool it looks. It's
Mhm.
like that's interesting, and then your interest gets piqued. just for them to like go and like destroy everything and leave. I hate that.
Okay.
It drives me nuts. But it's also like I think it comes down to like how the characters are walking me through that experience.
Mm,
It's not enough to just have like, well, one character was being semi-serious. It's like, no, you have someone else in there who's just a total moron,
okay.
and they should really just be at home on a computer ranting on the internet about something. Because like they like to rope them in. The only movie that managed to do that okay for me was Transformers, the original, the first Transformers
Okay.
movies, because
Yeah.
they're like roping in all these characters,
Mm.
and that one I think was held up because some of the characters were likable. They managed to kind of like win me over, and then it was like, all right, here's this force of everybody trying to figure out the problem or what these machines are. And then it was like when it was like the military guys, they were serious, and then I was like, okay, that's just it's separate. It's played serious. That's how they are. I can handle
Okay.
that. But when you mix them from the start, and you're just like, well, there's like a serious military guy, but then there's some moron over here. I'm just like, why would they ever be in a scenario together? And how is this one not adapting? And then so what they have to do is they have to make
Okay.
the military guy go down. He has to like go down and meet that stupid level, and that's just infuriating to me.
Okay. I
It
see.
should be the other way where he's like, no, this is serious. You're gonna adapt or die, and then either have the character die or adapt, because that's real life.
I guess. So for those ones, I guess the contrast would be they gave me, because that one was way more of the kaiju fights as opposed to the stupid character drama stuff. Because like, so for something like F1, they have that contrast, but they actually elevate the drama stuff in order to give you both.
Yeah.
Like it has that kind of
Mhm.
even keel, I guess. The other one's just elevated in energy. This one, it does have the contrast, but it seems like they just care so little about the character stuff, and I also care just almost nothing at all. I don't want to see a human on screen
Yeah.
except maybe dying in the city because it's getting leveled. Like,
Yeah.
because that's what's like they're actually in Tokyo just blowing buildings over and stuff. So I'm like, okay, if you want to show me like everyone inside the building or something, it's kind of dark, but whatever. Like,
Mhm.
if that's getting pushed over, then that's the only time I really care about what's going on with the people, because I'm here for Godzilla and Kong. That's
Yeah.
all I care about. So that one gave me enough, and it did have like the mustache twirling villain. But I'm
Yeah.
also here watching a Godzilla versus Kong film, so I really don't expect any depth at all. When you're looking at something like Mission Impossible, it's an espionage film, so you
Yeah.
have to have some depth in order for me to be invested in what they're trying to accomplish,
Yeah.
this mission that they're on, and it has to have these levels.
Yeah,
of,
and you should be invested in the stakes and everything.
right. And so when that's not succeeding in the narrative, then I'm like, well, okay, this is the one thing you had to succeed in. So with
Mhm.
Godzilla versus Kong, I'm like, well, I got enough.
The one thing that
of
they had to
yeah.
succeed in.
It's 75% of the film is them going at it. Right on. I'll ignore the other 25.
Yeah, I see. That's fair. It's like the amount of quantity of it.
Sure.
I guess like I just don't care about the Kong versus Godzilla
That's
fighting
fair.
whatsoever.
That might be the problem. You just
So-
started stumbling out the gate.
Yeah, I guess I just needed something to like connect with in some form or other. I like to think that I can kind of work though. Like with F1, I went into that thinking to myself like, well, I'll connect with like the exciting races
Mhm.
because I'm assuming that will be handled well based on the fact that they made Top Gun Maverick, and I know that looked really grounded and realistic, and that was good. So I'm kind of like, all right, it should be engaging from that element, and that's where the expectation was. I didn't go higher than that.
Fair.
And then when they had this drama and this interesting lead character, I was like, oh, there's a lot of good stuff in here. I'm enjoying this way more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Whereas like with Godzilla and Kong, what would what would be like the fair thing to assess? Why did I even watch this movie?
That's a great question. I'm starting to ask that myself. Like,
I
why
think
did you
made
go?
me watch it?
Did I?
actually. Yeah, I think you showed me it, and I was just kind of, I don't know. I just really it. I want to say something smarter, like, but it's
It
just
is
like
a brainless movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I guess let me just put it that way then. Like if I'm gonna forget the movie,
Okay.
like I need something that helps me remember it, like just in some way. Either it was a cool character or like
The
Okay,
action
we-
scenes wasn't enough, huh?
yeah, we were talking about like the old guard before we started recording, which is not terribly good. But Charlize Theron is great in it. And I really like
Sure.
her performance. I was like, oh, that's awesome. So like I was held up by like her performance and like
Okay.
so I guess I want an avenue. And when they do this sort of like here's like the dumb character thing that would never happen in this scenario under any circumstances, when that happens, then it's like you're just pushing me out, and you're just saying
Mhm.
like, remember what it was like in the theater watching this when everyone laughed at this joke we made? I'm like,
Gotcha. Not
I'm not in
really,
that
no.
scenario. I don't care. As opposed to something like, I had a point I forgot. Anyways, I'm throwing it back to you.
Okay.
I've been talking too long. I'm trying to give you a solid answer, and I feel like I just rambled.
I felt like I did too, but yeah, no, you made perfect points. It's hard to determine those things because
It is,
it's
yeah.
almost like there are certain, and I guess it's just a knowing yourself type of thing, right? Because art is so inherently subjective that something's going to bother you that obviously doesn't bother someone else. And I guess
Hmm.
that's the point of the episode is because like these are the things that we find as important criteria that other people just might not. I mean, Mission Impossible is clearly doing extremely well,
Hmm.
and most people like it. And maybe it's because they don't have to worry about it. They can go in and be like, well, I don't have to have watched all the other films.
Yeah.
So I can just get my recap and then continue on as if it's an episode on a TV show. Like
Hmm.
last week, remember whatever. So it's I understand its appeal, and then it gives you all that other stuff like the submarine scene. So like there's
Yeah.
something for everyone, and clearly it did appeal to me on that level.
Right.
And I can be entertained with all this other stuff that he's done, but
Hmm.
it's just ultimately like I don't care enough to go back. Like I'll probably never
Yeah.
watch it again.
Hmm.
And I don't care to go back and watch all the other films that came before it. Like his predecessors are just not interesting to me. I'll watch the
Yeah.
first one,
Yeah.
and I find a lot of value in that movie, but that's it.
I'm thinking like maybe I'm just gonna look for something to attach to, and as long as I can attach that, I
You're
can
just
just
gonna
kind of
hold on for
I
dear
can
life.
hold on to it. And if there's enough of it, or it's consistent, or it's strong enough, then I'll just stick with the movie. Because
Fair.
like Skull Island, for example, I love the visual style of that
Oh yes,
movie.
yes.
Like it has a really unique color palette that I was like, oh, that's just like a really visually nice film to look at. Whereas like the Godzilla Kong thing, I was like, this just looks like, I don't know, it's just mush.
CGI fest for
Yeah,
sure.
CGI fest, that critique, because it doesn't like stand out in any
Mm,
remarkable way.
okay.
So like visually I didn't get anything. And then like the Samuel L. Jackson character, he was awesome. He was so interesting.
He was.
I'm like, why does he have this
Love
vendetta
it's
somehow?
just this vitriolic
Yeah.
hatred for no reason. It's so much fun to follow.
Yeah, it's fun to follow because you just don't understand like that they're gonna
It's like,
do that. And then when
why?
he just keeps like digging his heels down,
Yeah.
you're like, there's something I misread about this
Right.
person, and now I want to know what that is. Even the John C. Reilly character is really fascinating
Yes.
too. He's like a total wacko. So like they just had characters that were willing to go to places that I wasn't expecting, and that kept everyone else who was just trying to survive on their toes.
Yeah.
So that made for a cool like
Mm.
dynamic to see play out. Whereas this other one was like, well, let me just insert like a nerdy character and have him just get like,
Just fulfill some weird stereotype that only the writer cared about. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's like I'll just fulfill some quota thing, to make the audience laugh. Like imagine being hired on a movie and it's like you're here to just make everybody laugh. It's like
All right. So try your
it's
hardest. That's what happened with Ghostbusters. We'll talk about that later.
oof,
All right.
hopefully
So
not.
okay. So then you had a third question.
Oh yeah, like is there anything in a movie that can just be like neutral for you? Like if it's not like as long as it's like passable and marginally so, then you're just like, yeah, that doesn't go into my criteria and I don't worry about it typically.
I think any given element except probably narrative, because like
The writing, yeah.
yeah, and there's different levels. Like it doesn't have to be a great story. It just has to be a self-aware story.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's something that it doesn't feel like it's insulting the audience, like it doesn't feel like the writer has to hold your hand through the whole thing, and it's just like, hey, this is the story I've got. You either like it or you don't. Then I can usually be like, okay, well, even if I disagree with it or dislike it, at least I know that it's a pure story that you're telling. Then I can
Mm-hmm.
jump on board. And I think that's probably what the problem was necessarily with Mission Impossible. Just didn't feel like it had enough confidence in its audience.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm like I have some elevated sense of narrative or something, but I understand that it appeals to a general audience, and I might not be that demographic necessarily, and I acknowledge that. Like obviously, it's appealed to somebody, and it's successful for that reason. But yeah, I just felt like it was trying too hard, and so if it's
It
doing
is.
that, then that's the only element that really stands out to me.
Hmm.
Otherwise, like something like Godzilla versus Kong, it's a dumb movie. It's a brainless CGI
Yeah.
fest. It's very corporatized, but I got like a bunch of fun action scenes out of it that I was going for, and I was like, all right,
Mm.
I can take that satisfaction. That's fine.
Hmm.
And so the narrative, I never thought that narrative was gonna be anything.
Hmm.
And yeah, like he tried, and
Yeah.
like I just ignore that, I guess.
Yeah, because I don't want to say that I need the narrative to be more, because clearly in like Mission Impossible that wasn't very deep either.
Right.
And I don't really care for their whole like. It seems like they're like, oh, there's like the entity or whatever, and
Yeah.
they try to make it dramatic and stuff. And I can go on board with it just because like the stunt work is great,
Sure.
and it at least presents it with
It
some
presents
class.
problems that were interesting. Like having to go to
Mm.
the submarine was because of
Yeah.
that. It's because it's secluded and it's not connected to something to where she can find him or something. Whatever it was. Yeah. But
Yeah, the scenario was cool, but also like when he talks with the entity, there's like this scene early on where it's like you get in this coffin kind of thing, and then it's like this kind of weird like sensory overload, and that was like a cool moment. So like even if the substance of what was happening wasn't that strong, at least like visually, it was like interesting. It was like vaguely compelling from that perspective. So then I can kind of like, all right, like I can keep up with this, like as long as there's, it's almost like it's like Mission Impossible always comes dressed in a nice tux, with a
it does.
tie, and it's just like I'm like, all right, I can work with that. That's nice. You look nice at the tail.
You look nice.
Not a very deep friend.
You don't have a lot of good conversations,
nicely
but you look good. All right. So those are the elements that you could look past. Essentially, is
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like if it's if something's stumbling in the movie, then I'm just gonna start gravitating to whatever can be remotely interesting.
okay.
I love it when it all comes together, but I just kind of acknowledge that it's a bar that's tough to meet for most artists, most filmmakers, and to do so consistently. And like, it's not that I give the movie a pass; like, I'll just give it the rating that it deserves. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But at the same time, I'm not willing to like beat it down or just dismiss it as long as like there's some kind of integrity to their work. So yeah, I don't know, because it is interesting because you can make the argument either way, right? Like
Yes.
Godzilla X Kong is like, we're just trying to deliver some action stuff. We're not overthinking this stuff, so we throw in some platitudes, just deal. And you're like able to do that. And then Mission Impossible is like, well, we're gonna build up this grandiose moment, and all the other stuff is like, you see how deep that is? Interesting. Why don't you think about that some more?
Please stop making me think about it. Stop drawing attention to it forever. Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think we've clarified our lines enough, right? The audience knows
I feel
a
like
little
it's
bit
just
more about
confusing, but maybe we'll revisit it.
We'll build off this argument in future episodes, probably.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for watching. So you made it to the end of the video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing and leave us a comment. We'd love to hear what you thought.